I woke up early, packed a single bag, and left her the keys. She assumed it was just another regular Tuesday. By the time she poured her morning coffee, I was already crossing state borders with a new identity, determined never to return. After 20 years of marriage, it was all over before the sun came up. My name is Jonathan Hayes. I'm 47 years old, and this is the story of how I left a 20-year marriage where I had never really been present. People often ask what made me finally leave. To be honest, there wasn't a single moment. It was a long build-up, 2 decades of small wounds. Rachel introducing me as just a financial analyst at social events, with that dismissive laugh of hers. Her business partner, Brad, coming over to our house 3 nights a week for strategy sessions that always involved wine, and her locking herself in the office. The way she'd leave me out of conversations at dinner, as though I were just some forgotten object. Our kids had it all, really. Asher was 21, studying mechanical engineering, and Madison, 19, was pre-med. Both intelligent, both caring, and both far enough away at college that they didn't have to witness their mother treating me like I was invisible. I'd paid their tuition fully 2 years ago, every semester, every penny. Rachel thought we were on a payment plan, but she never bothered to ask. The plan took me 16 months to set up. It started with sleepless nights and internet searches at 3 a.m. I found online forums where men shared stories of starting fresh. I learned how to move money in small amounts, how to create a new identity, how to disappear without leaving any trace. Every withdrawal was disguised by Rachel's shopping sprees. Every document hidden in places she'd never think to search. 3 months ago, I paid off the mortgage and transferred the deed entirely into her name, costing me $200,000 from accounts she didn't even know existed. She had the audacity to complain that week about how I never did anything meaningful. I woke up that Tuesday morning at 4:30. Rachel was still asleep, lying with her back to me, just as she had for years. The night before, I packed a single duffel bag and hid it in the garage behind the Christmas decorations she insisted I bring down every November. I got dressed in the dark, jeans, boots, and a flannel shirt I bought with cash at a thrift shop 2 towns over. Nothing from my old life. I walked through the house one last time, committing every detail to memory as if it were a crime scene. I left the keys on the kitchen counter, arranged the house, both cars, and the safety deposit box neatly, because even leaving, I couldn't help but be precise. My wedding ring went under the ceramic sugar bowl, the one her mother had given us, the one Rachel pretended to love. She'd tell everyone that I couldn't even be bothered to write a goodbye note. Fine, let her. The coffee maker was set to brew. She'd wake up to the smell, pour herself a cup, and maybe wonder where I went. Or maybe not. By the time she realized the keys weren't just misplaced, I was already entering New Mexico, heading toward a garage in Arizona where a man named Kyle Anderson had a job waiting for me. Let's see what you can do. I'd never cleaned a carburetor before, but I'd built intricate financial models, and a mechanism is a mechanism. I studied it, carefully dismantled it, and laid out all the parts in the right order. Hank watched silently, offering no comments. 2 hours later, I had reassembled it. Hank tested it, and the engine purred to life. "Ah," he said, "you'll do." That evening, I rented a room above the shop, bare walls, a mattress on the floor, a hot plate, and a window that looked out over the endless desert. I sat there as the sun set, eating gas station snacks, not once thinking about Rachel. For the first time in 20 years, I felt like I could finally breathe. Rachel woke up at 8:15, late for her usual routine, but she had stayed up late, probably texting Brad about their next business meeting. She padded down the hallway in her silk robe, the expensive one I had bought her for Christmas that she'd called adequate. There was no smell of coffee brewing. Odd. Jonathan always had it ready. "Jonathan," she called. Silence. She walked into the kitchen, already annoyed. The coffee maker was full but cold. "He must have forgotten to turn it on," she muttered. Typical. She reached for the cabinet, and that's when she saw them. Keys. All lined up on the granite island like soldiers at attention. House keys, car keys, the keys to the safety deposit box. Her hand trembled slightly as she picked up the car key fob. Both cars. She opened the garage. Her Mercedes was parked there, gleaming. Jonathan's Lexus sat next to it. Both cars. No Jonathan. What the hell? She whispered, walking back inside. She grabbed her phone and dialed his number. Straight to voicemail. No personal greeting anymore. Just the generic message. She tried again. Same result. Then she noticed the sugar bowl, something underneath it. She lifted it, and there it was, his wedding ring. A simple gold band, worn smooth from 20 years of use, sitting there like a piece of evidence. Rachel gasped. This wasn't him running late. This was something else. She called his office. Jennifer, his assistant, answered after 2 rings. Hi, Rachel, what can I do for you? She said, her voice professional and pleasant. Is Jonathan there? Rachel asked, trying to sound casual. Oh no, he took a leave of absence 3 weeks ago, Jennifer replied. He said he needed some personal time. I thought you knew. Rachel's grip tightened on the phone. Right? Yes, I forgot. How long is he gone? He was pretty vague about it. Just said he'd be in touch. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Rachel lied. Thanks, Jennifer. She hung up, staring at the keys. 3 weeks. He'd been planning this for 3 weeks, and she hadn't noticed a thing. She checked the bedroom closet. Empty hangers where his clothes used to be. Not all of them, just enough to leave noticeable gaps. His laptop was gone. His gym bag was gone. The old leather jacket he'd worn since college? Gone. Rachel sat down on the bed, phone in hand, her mind racing. She dialed his number again. Voicemail again. She opened her laptop and checked their bank accounts. The joint checking account showed normal activity. She logged into the savings account. Her password didn't work. What? She typed it again. Account access denied. She called the bank. After 20 minutes on hold and being transferred several times, she finally reached someone who could help. Mrs. Hayes, that account was closed 4 months ago, the representative said. Closed? By whom? Rachel asked. Your husband. He withdrew the full balance and closed the account. You should have received a notification. Rachel remembered the stack of mail Jonathan always handled. The bills, the statements, everything she let him deal with because she was too busy. How much was in the account? She asked, her voice barely steady. I'm not at liberty to discuss specific amounts, but the account had a substantial balance. She hung up, her hands shaking now. This wasn't a breakdown. This was something planned, methodical. The Jonathan she knew couldn't even plan a vacation without her approval. This was someone else entirely. She called Brad. He'd know what to do. Brad always knew what to do. Brad showed up within an hour. He walked in like he owned the place, which had always bothered her when they still lived together. Now it didn't matter. What happened? He asked, his hand on her shoulder in that familiar way that made her lean into him. He's gone, she said. Jonathan just left. Brad stared at the keys on the counter, picked up the wedding ring. Did you two have a fight? No, that's the thing. Everything was normal. We were fine, Rachel said. Brad said gently. Were you really fine? She couldn't answer that. She couldn't remember the last real conversation they'd had that wasn't about bills or schedules, or her reminding him of something he had forgotten to do. Brad pulled out his phone. I know a guy, he said. A private investigator. He's good at finding people who don't want to be found. You want me to call him? Rachel nodded. Yes, call him. Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away, I was learning how to rebuild a motorcycle engine. Hank stood over me, occasionally grunting approval or pointing out when I was about to make a mistake. You've got good instincts, Hank said. Most people rush it. You take your time. Do it right. I smiled. I learned that from spreadsheets, I said. Numbers don't lie if you're patient with them. Machines are the same way. Treat them well, and they'll treat you well, unlike people. I looked up at Hank, speaking from experience. 2 divorces. Both times she had said, I love these bikes more than her. I replied, at least the bikes don't lie to me. He laughed. You're running from a divorce. Something like that, I said. He nodded but didn't push further. That's what I liked about Hank. He understood that some things didn't need to be explained. My new phone buzzed in my pocket. I'd given the number to exactly 3 people. Hank, the landlord, and Jake, the one who had helped me set up my new identity. I pulled it out. A text from an unknown number. Dad, it's Asher. Madison gave me this number. We need to talk. My chest tightened. I knew this moment would come. Just didn't expect it this soon. I stepped outside into the heat of Arizona and dialed. Asher picked up right away. Dad, yeah, it's me. What the hell is going on? Mom's freaking out. She called me and Madison saying, you disappeared. I didn't disappear, son, I said. I left. That's the difference. Leaving is disappearing, he retorted. No, I replied firmly. Disappearing is what happens when someone takes you. Leaving is a choice. I chose to leave. Silence on the other end. Then why? Because staying was killing me, Asher. Slowly, quietly, but it was killing me just the same. So, you just run away? That's your solution? I'm not running from anything. I'm walking towards something better. There's a difference. Mom thinks you had some kind of breakdown. Of course she does. It's easier than admitting she stopped seeing me years ago. Another long silence. Are you coming back? Asher asked, his voice softer now. No, but I'm still your father. That doesn't change. Your tuition is paid through graduation. Madison's, too. You're both taken care of. We don't care about the money, Dad. I know, but I do. That's what fathers do. They take care of their kids, even from a distance. I could hear him processing, breathing slowly. Where are you? He finally asked. Somewhere I can breathe. That's all you need to know right now. Madison wants to talk to you. Tell her I'll call her soon. I promise. But right now, I need you both to trust me. Can you do that? A long pause. Yeah, I can do that. Good man. I love you, Asher. Love you too, Dad. I hung up and stood there in the sun, feeling the weight of the conversation settle over me. My kids were the only thing I regretted leaving behind, but they were adults now. They'd understand eventually. They had to. 3 months in, and I'd found my rhythm. Up at 5, coffee in hand, watching the desert sunrise, then down at Hank's shop by 6. The work was honest. A bike was either broken, or it wasn't. No politics, no games. Business started picking up. Word spread about the new guy who didn't give customers any BS. We went from scraping by to having a 2-week waiting list. Then Jake called. Your wife hired a detective, he said, without any preamble. Guy named Thomas Reed. He's good, and he's asking questions. I'd been expecting this. Rachel wouldn't just let me vanish. How close is he? I asked. He found a truck sale. Traced it to Tucson. He'll check the motorcycle shop soon. What do you suggest? Stand your ground. You're Kyle Anderson. The documents check out. Suspicion isn't proof. After Jake hung up, Hank walked over. Trouble? He asked. My ex hired someone to find me. Hank nodded. You running? No, I'm staying. Good, he said, handing me a folder. Been meaning to talk to you. I'm selling the shop. Retiring to Montana with my daughter. Offering it to you first. I opened the folder. The numbers were fair, maybe generous. I don't have that kind of money, Hank. Bank loan with your track record, or we work out payments. I trust you, Kyle. That night, I called Madison. Dad. Hey, Maddie. Mom hired a detective to find you. I know. I'm not hiding, just living somewhere else. Why like this? Because any other way would have been a war. This way, it's cleaner. Silence. Then I found text messages between Mom and Brad going back 2 years. They're not just business partners, are they? My chest tightened. No, sweetheart. They're not. Did you know? I suspected, but even without Brad, I was drowning. Your mother stopped seeing me years ago. I'm sorry, Dad. Don't be sorry for me. Be happy I finally chose myself. That's what I want for you, too. Never let anyone make you invisible. I love you, Dad. Love you too, Maddie. The detective found me on Tuesday. I was replacing a clutch when a man in khakis walked in. Former cop, probably, I thought. Looking for Kyle Anderson, he said. That's me, I replied. He pulled out my wedding photo. This you? I glanced at it. Nope. Don't know him. You sure? You look like Jonathan Hayes. Disappeared 3 months ago. I'm Kyle Anderson. Don't know any Jonathan Hayes. He smiled professionally. Here's the thing. I don't care why you left. I'm just confirming you're alive. That's it. Then report back that Kyle Anderson is alive and well, I said. He could have pushed further, gotten the law involved. But he didn't. He studied me for a moment and then nodded. Fair enough. But your wife won't stop. She's always angry. That's just who she is. He pulled out a card. When she shows up, and she will, call me. You might need a witness for your stable. After he left, Hank appeared. Is that what I think it is? Yeah, he found me. You okay? I'm fine, but my wife might show up. Then she'll meet Kyle Anderson, master mechanic. That night, Rachel called Jonathan. Her voice was sharp, like broken glass. Wrong number. Don't play games. The detective found you. I know where you are. Then you know I'm not coming back. You can't just walk away from 20 years. I already did. The divorce papers are at the house. Just sign them. You're insane. No, Rachel. I'm finally saying what needed to be said. There's a difference. I want to see you face to face. Part of me wanted to refuse, but another part wanted her to see what she'd lost. Fine. Rose's Diner on Highway 10. Thursday at noon. Come alone. I'll be there. She hung up. I sat there, realizing I wasn't afraid. For the first time in our marriage, I had the power. Thursday came with heat that made the asphalt shimmer. I arrived at Rose's Diner 30 minutes early, choosing a booth in the back corner with a clear view of the entrance. Old habit from my days as a financial analyst. Always control what you can. Rachel walked in at exactly noon. She was dressed for battle. Power suit. Heels. Her hair perfect, every inch of it. The successful professional she had always told me I wasn't ambitious enough to match. Heads turned as she scanned the room, spotted me, and walked over with that determined stride I knew too well. She slid into the booth across from me without a word, just stared, taking in the changes. The beard, the sun-weathered skin, the calluses on my hands visible on the table. I'd gained muscle from physical work, lost the softness of office life. You look different, she finally said. I am different. You look like a manual laborer. I am a manual laborer. I fix motorcycles. Honest work. She flinched at that. You have a master's degree in finance. Jonathan, you were a senior analyst, and you threw it all away to become a grease monkey. I threw away a life that was suffocating me. Big difference. The waitress came over. I ordered coffee and pie. Rachel ordered water with lemon, then changed her mind and ordered wine. At noon, that told me everything about how rattled she was. This is insane, Rachel said after the waitress left. You can't just abandon your entire life. I didn't abandon it. I bought a new one. You got the house, the cars, everything you wanted. I took what I needed and left. What you needed? You took our savings, Jonathan. You cleaned out accounts I didn't even know existed. Accounts I filled. Money I earned while you were busy spending it on designer furniture and whatever Brad needed for his latest scheme. Her face went red. Brad is my business partner. Brad is more than that, and we both know it. I found text messages going back 2 years. Rachel, you weren't as careful as you thought. She went pale. You were spying on me. I was paying attention. Something you never did with me. The waitress brought our orders. Rachel gulped half her wine immediately. So what? Rachel's voice shook. You found some texts and decided to throw away 20 years of marriage. No, I replied. I decided to stop being invisible in my own life. The texts just confirmed what I already knew. You checked out of this marriage years ago. I finally had the courage to do the same. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. I shook my head. There's nothing to fix. You can't repair something that was never really built. We got married too young, wanted different things, and spent 20 years pretending otherwise. I'm done pretending. What about Asher and Madison? You're just abandoning your children. They're adults with paid educations and a father who finally chose to live. That's not abandonment. That's showing them what self-respect looks like. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Real ones this time, I thought. I never meant to make you feel invisible. I know, I said. That's the sad part. You didn't mean to. You just did. Because seeing me required effort you weren't willing to give. She reached across the table. I didn't pull away this time, but I didn't squeeze back either. Come home, she said quietly. Please, we can start over. No, Rachel, we can't. Because you'd be coming home to Jonathan Hayes, and he doesn't exist anymore. I'm Kyle Anderson now, and Kyle has a life he actually wants to live. She pulled her hand back like I had burned her. You're really not coming back. I'm really not coming back. Sign the divorce papers. Move on with Brad. Be happy, but let me be happy too. She stood abruptly, grabbed her purse. This isn't over, Jonathan. Yes, it is. And my name is Kyle. She walked out, leaving her wine half finished and the check unpaid. I settled both, left a good tip, and drove back to the shop, feeling lighter than I had in years. 2 weeks after Rachel's visit, I signed the papers to buy Hank's shop. The bank approved my loan based on the business's improved performance. Hank was thrilled. I was terrified, but it was the good kind of terrified, the kind that comes from building something that's truly yours. You're going to do great things with this place, Hank said as we signed the final documents. You've got the skills and the integrity. That's rare. Learn from the best. I shook my head. Nah, you had it in you all along. Just needed the right environment to bring it out. The day after Hank left for Montana, I changed the sign outside. Instead of Hank's motorcycle repair, it now read Anderson Cycle Shop. Seeing my new name, my chosen name, on that sign felt like planting a flag. The business kept growing. I hired an assistant, a young guy named Travis, who reminded me of myself at that age, eager, smart, and willing to learn. I taught him everything Hank had taught me, paid him fairly, and treated him with respect. The things I'd wanted from Rachel but never got. Then one Saturday afternoon, both my kids showed up. Asher and Madison walked into the shop together, clearly having planned this ambush. I was under a Triumph Bonneville when I heard Madison's voice. "Dad." I rolled out from under the bike, wiped my hands, and stood up. They both looked good, healthy. Madison had cut her hair short, and Asher had grown a beard. They'd changed too. "Hey guys," I said. "This is a surprise. We wanted to see where you've been hiding," Asher said. It wasn't accusatory, just factual. "I'm not hiding, living," I replied. "Come on, I'll show you around." I walked them through the shop, explaining the business, introducing them to Travis, showing them the bikes we were working on. They listened, asked questions, and I could see them processing this new version of their father. "You seem happy," Madison said finally. "Happier than I've ever seen you." "I'm happy." For the first time in a long time, Asher walked over to my workbench, picked up a wrench. "Mom's not doing well." "I know, but that's not my responsibility anymore." "She wants you to come back." "I'm not coming back, Asher. I made a life here. A good life." Madison touched my arm. "We're not here to convince you to go back, Dad. We're here because we wanted to understand, and now I think we do." "Yeah," Asher agreed. "I found out about Brad, the texts, the business trips that weren't really business. I get why you left." "It wasn't just Brad," I said. "It was everything. But I don't want you two to feel like you have to choose sides." "We're not choosing sides," Madison said. "We're choosing to understand both of you. Mom's hurt and angry, but you're finally alive. Both things can be true." We talked for another hour about their lives, their studies, their futures. They asked about the shop, about Arizona, about whether I was lonely. I told them the truth. I was alone, but not lonely. There's a difference. Before they left, Asher hugged me tight. "I'm proud of you, Dad. That's what you say to your father." "But I am," he said. Madison kissed my cheek. "Call more often." "Okay. We miss you." "I miss you too. Both of you." I watched them drive away, feeling a peace I hadn't expected. My kids understood. That was enough. 14 months after I left, Madison called with news that stopped me cold. "Dad, Mom's sick. Cancer. Stage 3 ovarian. They found it 3 weeks ago." I stood in my apartment above the shop, phone pressed to my ear, feeling the weight of 20 years crash back in one sentence. "How bad?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Bad enough. She needs surgery next week, then 6 months of aggressive chemo. The doctors say her chances are good if she responds to treatment, but it's going to be rough." "How's she handling it?" "Terrified, Dad. Really terrified." And Brad disappeared the second she told him. Literally, 20 minutes after she broke the news, he sent her a text saying, "You needed space." Space. After 2 years of whatever they were doing, that hit different. After everything she'd done, everything she'd said, she was facing the biggest fight of her life, completely alone. "She asked about you," Madison continued, her voice soft. "Not to come back or anything like that, just to know if you cared whether she lived or died." I looked out the window at the Arizona desert, stretching endlessly and bathed in gold by the afternoon sun. The life I had built here was good, honest, free, and mine. Going back to California, even for a day, felt like stepping into a grave I had already climbed out of. "Give me a day to think about it," I said. That evening, I called Jake. He listened without interrupting, then gave it to me straight. "You don't owe her anything, John. Not a damn thing. But ask yourself this, 20 years from now, can you live with not going?" That question haunted me through a sleepless night. Finally, at dawn, I made my decision. 2 days later, I flew to California. I didn't tell Rachel I was coming. I just showed up at her hospital room the afternoon before her surgery. She was sitting up in bed, no makeup, hair pulled back, dressed in a hospital gown that made her look smaller and more vulnerable than I had ever seen her. All the armor she had worn for 20 years was gone, stripped away by fear and illness. "Jonathan," she whispered when she saw me. "It's Kyle now," I said gently. "But yeah, it's me." Tears started running down her face immediately. "I didn't think you'd come. After everything I did, everything I said." I pulled a chair close to her bed and sat down. I'm not here because I forgive everything, Rachel. I'm here because despite everything, we spent 20 years together. That counts for something. I'm so scared, she said, her voice breaking. What if the surgery doesn't work? What if the chemo doesn't work? Then you fight harder. You've always been a fighter, Rachel. You just fought the wrong battles for too long. It's time to fight for yourself. She nodded, unable to speak through the tears. I'm sorry, she finally managed. For everything. For making you feel invisible. For Brad. For wasting 20 years on someone I stopped really seeing. I'm so sorry, Jonathan. Kyle, I'm sorry. I know you are, I said. I can see that now. Do you forgive me? I thought about that question. Really thought about it. I'm working on it. Honestly, I am. But Rachel, I can't come back. You understand that, right? Kyle Anderson has a life now. Jonathan Hayes is gone. I know, she said, wiping her eyes. I wouldn't want you to come back. You're happier now. I can see it in your eyes, in the way you carry yourself. You're finally free. We talked for 2 more hours about Asher and Madison, about her treatment plan, about small things that didn't matter and big things that did. When I finally stood to leave, she grabbed my hand. Thank you for coming. It means more than you'll ever know. Get better, Rachel. Not for me. Not for the kids. For you. Fight for yourself. 2 days later, after I returned to Arizona, I made a phone call to the hospital billing department, set up an anonymous payment plan that covered her entire treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, hospital stays, medication, everything. $80,000 from accounts she never knew existed. She never knew it was me. That was fine. I didn't do it for recognition or gratitude. I did it because I could afford to be generous now that I was free, and because some part of me still cared whether she lived or died. Not enough to go back, but enough to help from a distance. 2 years after leaving California, I stood in Anderson's cycle shop, watching Travis train a new mechanic on carburetor rebuilds. The business had grown beyond anything I had imagined. 4 full-time mechanics, a custom fabrication shop in the back, and a waiting list that stretched 3 months out. Clients came from Nevada, New Mexico, even California to have their bikes worked on. Jake had helped me expand into specialty builds. We created one-of-a-kind custom motorcycles that wealthy collectors paid premium prices for. The financial analyst who had spent 20 years pushing papers was now designing machines that sold for 6 figures. Rachel survived her surgery and completed chemotherapy. Madison sent updates every few weeks. The cancer was in remission. Rachel had sold the big house, moved into a modest condo, and started volunteering at a cancer support group. She was building a different kind of life, smaller, quieter, maybe more honest than the one she'd had before. The divorce finalized on a Tuesday morning. Papers signed, marriage officially dissolved. I felt nothing but relief and a strange kind of peace. That same weekend, both my kids drove out to visit. Asher brought his girlfriend, Sophie, a smart engineering student who asked intelligent questions about the bikes. Madison came alone but stayed 3 days, helping out in the shop and sleeping on my couch like old times. We rode motorcycles through the desert, ate at roadside diners, and talked about everything except the painful past. It felt good, clean, real. You're different, Dad, Asher said on their last evening as we sat outside, watching the sunset. You smile more. You laugh. You're actually happy. I'm happy, I said for the first time in decades. I'm genuinely happy. Mom's different too, Madison added, sipping her beer. Smaller in some ways, but in a good way. Like she finally figured out she doesn't need to be the biggest person in every room to matter. I'm glad she's doing better, I said. I mean that. She knows you paid her medical bills, Asher said quietly. She figured it out about 3 months ago. She wanted us to tell you thank you. Tell her to stay healthy. That's all the thanks I need. Before they left the next morning, Asher hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, Dad. Not many people have the guts to choose themselves like you did. Took me 47 years, I said. But better late than never. 3 months later, I received a letter. Rachel's handwriting on good stationery. Kyle, I know you pay my medical bills. The hospital wouldn't confirm it, but I know. That knowledge nearly broke me. Not from sadness, but from finally understanding how good you always were and how blind I was to it. I'm healthy now, in remission, learning to be alone without being bitter or afraid. You taught me that, even though you didn't mean to. I hope Arizona gave you everything I couldn't. You deserve peace, happiness, and someone who actually sees you. Thank you for saving my life, even after I nearly destroyed yours. Rachel. I read it once, folded it carefully, and put it in a drawer I'd probably never open again. That evening, I climbed onto the roof of my apartment and watched the sunset paint the desert golden orange. My phone rang. Jake, how's business? He asked. Better than ever. We're actually turning people away now. Good problem to have. Listen, I've got a buddy in Montana selling a garage. Thought you might be interested in expanding. I smiled. Send me the details. I'll take a look. After we hung up, I sat there watching the stars emerge one by one in the darkening sky. Somewhere in California, Rachel was learning to live a smaller, more honest life. Somewhere in the past, Jonathan Hayes existed only as a fading memory. But here, now, in this moment, Kyle Anderson was exactly where he belonged. 20 years of being invisible in my own life. 2 years of finally being seen, by myself. I wouldn't trade these 2 years for those 20. Not for anything in the world. I had found what I had been running toward all along. Not a place, not a person, not even a new identity. Just myself. Finally, completely, honestly myself.